we have two really fine human beings running for this office.
Yeah.
Can you summarize for me where you're different from Ralph, or where Ralph Northam is different from you, and why you think you can win? Because what I want is us to win. And I know, yes. And you are so impressive. I could be, I hate to say this to you, but I could be happy voting for either of you. So I need to know the difference. Could you help me with that?
Sure. First of all, thank you. Let me start with the electability issue. If you look at how I've already performed, let's go first to past performance. In 2008, no Democrat had come within 18 points of winning in that district. I started out 36% behind. We ran the tables on it. In the district, President Obama actually lost, and we were able to win that same district in 2008. You fast forward 2 years, we fell short by 3% in a very red part of the state in a terrible year for Democrats, but we actually outperformed the Democratic brand by 12 points. So being able to run in a terrible year and do better than the Democratic brand by 12 points is a really big deal. Axelrod called it the biggest statistical win of the night. But I want to go back to why we did that, because I think this is more significant, because to be honest, while I love my adopted home of Northern Virginia, I've lived in Alexandria the last 5 years, I feel like sometimes people try to guess what's going to work in the red parts of the state, as opposed to talking to those of us who've won in the red parts of the state. If you go back to 2008 and you got a group of Democratic consultants together, and you ask them, who's the perfect person to defeat Virgil Goode in the 5th District of Virginia? They would have described the exact opposite of me. They would have said, we need someone who's basically a moderate Republican, ideally a former Republican, someone with a drawl, either a small businessman or a farmer, who's going to run essentially as a centrist. And that is not me. I had 2 Yale degrees. I'd been hanging out in West Africa and Afghanistan. I was to the left of the party on economic and most cultural issues, and was running as a fiery progressive. And I think this is what we get wrong about people. People aren't looking for some artificial place on a left, right, center spectrum. They're looking for a fighter. They're looking for someone who believes the system has screwed them over and left them behind because it has. They're looking for someone who is willing to stand up to special interest groups in concentrated power and give everyday folks a chance. And that's how we won it in 2008. And then when I got to Congress, everyone was like, well, that was weird. But now, here's the playbook you're supposed to do. Distance yourself from President Obama, don't vote for the Affordable Care Act, don't vote for the climate change bill. I said, no, that's not what people are looking for from me. So I embraced the climate bill and the stimulus, the Affordable Care Act. I voted against the Wall Street bill for not being strong enough and went on a tirade against Larry Summers about it. We talked about the need for the stimulus to be a bigger 10-year rebuild of America's competitive advantage. The pundits kept saying, wait, you're to the left of the party again on these issues. I was like, no one in my district is talking about left and right. They're only talking about who's fighting for people like me. And that was why we so dramatically overperformed in 2010. And I think what people know about me since then was I didn't leave Congress and go take some high-paying lobbying job. I went back to the nonprofit sector and kept fighting for voting rights and women's rights and common sense gun reform and taking on inequality. And sure enough, issues that when I raised them 10 years ago about criminal justice reform and inequality seemed outside the mainstream have now become mainstream in the party. I think this year is an enormous opportunity for us to do more than win a race. I keep coming back to that. But we cannot assume that simply showing up with a D after our name is going to do it. And it's not actually even the policy positions you take. Hillary Clinton's policy agenda was to the left of Barack Obama's. But people didn't feel it. They didn't feel someone who had been in the trenches fighting. I think that was unfair. I think there was lots of structural sexism about that and everything else. But in terms of what people felt, is this someone who's been fighting for this stuff? And I think this is a big difference between me and Ralph. Ralph is a wonderful guy. He really is. It's not, a personal thing at all. But for the last 3 years, we've had real fights in our country. We've had real fights in our state. This was someone who did admit in the New York Times voting for George W. Bush twice. As someone who was working 20 hours a day to fight the Bush agenda from nonprofit organizations during that time, that was a really serious time for our country. That was when inequality took off on a massive scale. We undermined the very economic security of the country and the budget. We had the war, we had torture, we had all these things going on. And I think it's about who felt called in that time to struggle for the fullness of the progressive agenda. Now, what we have now is this really cool opportunity, though. We have an opportunity because we have the party more fired up than it's ever been. We have committee meetings that are pouring out the door. And then we have these movement groups outside that are also even bigger. And if we can run a campaign, and it's sort of the story of my life, 1 foot inside, 1 foot outside, where we can have the best of both worlds, that's what we want to put together. We don't want to relitigate Bernie versus Hillary. We want to take the greatest hits of both and say, we can tap into, I think, that vein that Bernie did so well, that the system is corrupt, that inequality is a problem, and inspire people into the party, and also try to live up to the very high standard Hillary Clinton set of policy wonkishness and pragmatic solutions to things. I call myself a pragmatic populist for a reason, which is I'm a populist because I think the system is totally screwed, and I'm a pragmatist because I don't think me giving a speech about it does a single poor person any good. What does people good is me being able to bring them together to solve a deal. New Year's Eve, I finished a 1.5-year project negotiating what will be the first peaceful democratic transition in the history of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Before that, I was doing a strategic review of state USAID that affected 80,000 federal workers, most of them in Virginia, and a $50 billion a year budget. One of those sounds a little sexier than the other one, but both of them are about problem solving. It's about bringing people together, taking a broken system and trying to fix it. The last thing I will mention, which is not at all personal about Ralph, but I think it is important to remember, is that Virginia doesn't elect lieutenant governors to governor. We've had one since the 80s. And there's a reason for that structurally in terms of how the process works. It's not about anyone's personality. It just doesn't tend to be a very good launching point for successful elections. Tim Kaine was the exception, a former mayor. Warner was at 78% approval at the time. What people are looking for is someone who's been leading, who's been out there in this fight. I believe we offer that, and I believe that's why our campaign's taken off so far.